Okay. All right.
So Nancy, whenever you want to call the meeting to order, I can share the agendas on the screen. But it's
Oh,
up
okay,
to
sounds
you.
good. That's what I was looking for, actually. Okay, but if you have it handy.
Well, I do, but wait a minute. But it's really handy, but I think I have about 30 documents open, so let me close everything.
Okay, if not, then I can go ahead and do it.
I think I'm good. Well, you
Okay.
can go ahead and do it. Oops. Do it.
All right, well, let me try and see if this works. Am I sharing?
You did it.
Okay.
You might want to make it littler. Yeah.
Okay. My eyesight's not the best. Okay. Great.
I know. I realize I'm looking at all of these Zoom things, and I'm like, oh, who's that girl with the glasses? And it's and you know, I don't wear glasses walking around, but apparently I wear glasses now 100% of the time because all anyone sees is Zoom.
Yes. Sorry, that's behind me. Let me see if I can change it. All right. Well, we can go ahead and call this meeting to order. Does anyone want? I'm showing the agenda on the screen. Do we need someone to move to approve the agenda?
That would be nice.
Does anyone move to approve the agenda?
I so move. This is Paula.
Thank you, Paula. Does anyone second?
I'll second. This is Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra. Great. So then we have approved the agenda, and we can call to order the meeting. First, we can start with any public comments or announcements. Does anyone have any comments or announcements? Sandra, are you?
Oh, I'm not raising my hand.
Oh, okay. No, you're not. Okay.
Maybe, Nancy, maybe we should go through the little bit of how to raise your hand.
Oh, okay.
So I've sort of practiced. For those who are new to Zoom, or as a reminder, if you're looking at the computer, you take your cursor down to the bottom of the screen and you'll see the word participants. You click on that and you bring up all the names of the people participating, but also on that new window, you'll see raised hand. And if you raise your hand, you click that button, you'll have a little blue hand that gets raised. And I have no idea how to raise a hand on the phone, but only Jeff is on the phone, so he can just blurt out anything he wants.
Okay.
And I'm turning it back to you, Nancy.
Thank you, Laura. Does anyone have any announcements? If not, then we can go ahead and move on. Okay. Hearing.
I wasn't planning on making comment, but I will if you'd like, just to offer some assistance for you. And can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, Arnie.
I'm Arnie Corlett. Sure. Real quick, I'm a community volunteer. I've done a lot of things in your area. I'm a former 24-year LAPD reserve volunteer. I also own rental properties. And a lot of what I do around the city, although I've done less the last 2 or 3 years, is that right now, you know, LAPD is having a lot of challenges when it comes to some of the nuisance issues. So as another rental property owner, what I do is if you're getting those calls for service locations that are affecting your neighborhood, I'm always glad to reach out to that rental owner as a peer. One of the things that we do even now during COVID, we've got hundreds of owners with thousands of units where we're making sure our residents know where there's jobs, where we're sharing their resumes to make sure they have the jobs, they know where the food banks are, the mental health, and all the resources. But the other side of it is there's a lot of restrictions which the owners have sometimes when the community members are having issues. That started, unfortunately, in 2009 when our current city attorney, Mike Feuer, created AB 590. That's a whole other story. But if you have those addresses, there are some things, even if it's, and I teach about gangs, narcotics, terrorism, human trafficking, as well as just the nuisance issues. So any of you, I'll be glad to share my information with you. If you give me the location, I'll team up with the senior lead. A lot of times there's things that I can do that they can't do. But again, we always do it with the focus. The goal is never suppression or arrest or eviction. It's how do we do the behavioral change? How do we create those pathways to success and opportunities? And then LAPD is allowed to focus on those that truly have the problems that won't kind of get with the plan. So if any of you are interested, I'll be glad to give you my contact in the chat. If it's like, I'll go ahead and put it there so you have it.
Right. So
Thank you, Arnie. Is this through a nonprofit, Arnie?
No, I've just done it as a volunteer for many years. What happened was, as a matter of fact, if you were to look at my website or actually Google my name, you'll see one of the things. So I was last assigned to South Bureau Homicide. And one of the things was my assignment was to go out after incidents and identify where the cameras were, retrieve the video, analyze the video, and help LAPD solve the crime. And I did it in a lot of other crimes in divisions around the city. And the other hat that I wore is I actually put in a network in South Bureau on my rental properties, over 130 cameras. They could see almost 4 miles of streets that I was solving so many homicides and crimes that you can see an article that LA Times did about me in solving the homicides. So it doesn't cost you anything. I do give training. I was volunteering 100 hours a month to LAPD, literally spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month out of my own pocket. So admittedly, I did have to form a business out of it. But when I do all of this for the community members, I don't charge. I just do that volunteer. So if you have those addresses, by the way, it never comes back to who's reporting it. I make sure we don't want that retaliation if things occur, but I will get with your senior lead and so forth and kind of coordinate that. Okay. Thank you.
Laura, did you have a question?
yeah, well, no, just a comment for Arnie and everyone else. The way our chat works, because this is virtual governance, you can chat with either Nancy or myself as co-hosts, and then either one of us can post then the chat to everybody else.
Sure.
So if you want to share, you'll see in your chat that you can't share with everyone. And if you can, we're doing something wrong in our settings.
Okay, no problem. Yeah,
Okay.
and everybody's got my contact info, so feel free to forward it to others. And the information is always kept confidential, on how we do that. Okay.
Right, but for you to give it to us, you have to send it to either Nancy or me in the chat.
Yeah, I'll do it right now. I've got Laura's on there, I guess.
That would be me.
Okay. I guess.
That would be me.
Okay.
Mhm.
There's a bit of feedback. Okay. Well, I think we can go ahead and move on to the next item, or rather skip the next item because Officer Mejia is not here yet. Jeff, we can move on to item 4. Jeff, do you have any updates as CD10 rep?
Hey, yes, I'm here. The latest update, at least citywide, and pretty much everybody already knows this, parking enforcement is now happening again. I will send a link to Laura to send out to the UNNC group separately. You can call DOT, or you can report a lot of infractions online. There's a portal especially for abandoned vehicles. I have requested in the past, and I've gotten some of those from people, information so we could do a list so that they would be at the top. But DOT and parking enforcement obviously have gotten slammed because the city's been shut down for so long. So I highly encourage, even though I've requested a couple of times to have parking enforcement come out in various different areas, it's important that you and your neighbors also call so that they are aware and they're getting those numbers and they can ramp up to service your areas again. So please make those calls. RVs or any vehicle that looks like it may be used for dwelling still will not be taken away, impounded, or ticketed. So you're going to want to coordinate with Anna Maria Mejia, our senior lead officer, in instances where there are RVs or vehicles and there is a criminal element involved, whether it be prostitution, drug activity, what have you, because then they can reach out to Vice and start, observing and actually cite and arrest. But when it comes to anything else, of a vehicle that looks like it's being used for a dwelling, it's still falling under the city ordinance that they can't touch it, they can't interfere with it, and they can't move it because someone's living there. That's about all that I have. Let me give everybody my email and phone number. And Laura, if you would do me the favor of putting that in the chat so everybody has it. The email address is jeff.camp, like summer camp, C-A-M-P, at lacity.org. And my city cell phone number is 323-733-7081. And if there are, I normally would be here through this whole meeting, but I have extra credit activities I'm doing this evening. So I won't be able to stick around. So if an issue comes up where you do need my assistance, please give me a call tomorrow or send me an email so that I can reach out to you and help connect and get your problems resolved. But before I leave, are there any questions?
I think there's one more question that showed up. What's her name? Denise. I can remember her name.
Is that a question? Because I can barely hear anything. Nancy, is someone talking? Because I can't hear a thing.
Oh, sorry, I'm on mute. No, there's no questions.
Okay,
It's
great.
just background noise.
Well,
I think someone has their TV
okay.
on.
Okay, perfect. Everybody, if you haven't done so already, please vote. It's this Tuesday. Let's all move forward together and really makes the change this country needs. And with that, you guys have an awesome evening. And like I said, I'll touch base with anybody who has issues, and we'll get you hooked up as fast as I possibly can.
Good night. Thank you.
Great. Thank you,
Thanks,
Jeff.
guys.
Oh, hey, Jeff, before you go,
Yeah.
you go, Audrey actually was trying to raise her hand.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can. Hi, Audrey.
Hi, Jeff. I just wanted to mention that as pleased as we all are to hear that parking enforcement is picking up, that on 31st Street, we're still seeing none in our overnight parking district, as well as for street cleaning, despite many, many calls. And I know you've made calls as well. And I'm just giving you an up-to-date, last-minute report on status, which is that nothing is happening.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. I will start crawling up the ladder a little bit higher. I'll do that tomorrow morning and see if there's something we can't do about it.
Yeah, in particular, the overnight parking district. But both of them would make a huge difference if we saw some.
I know that's for your street in particular. That was the one resource that I was waiting to kick back in because I knew that would make a huge difference. So let me go up higher on the ladder tomorrow and let them know that I'm getting calls from the neighborhood. I'm sure you're getting calls. Can we please send somebody out there? Here's the reason why.
Thanks so much.
Is Helen on the phone before I leave?
No, but our representative.
No, she's not. Okay. Well, she was on. I was going to wish her a happy birthday because today's Helen's birthday.
We were just there.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Hang in there.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hey, Lizzie, you're in twice, so we're getting a feedback loop when you talk.
I don't know why.
Maybe you can mute one.
Let me try.
Okay, is that better?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, now I'm on a feedback loop, so I'm muting myself.
Okay. All right. Great. So the next item on the agenda is number 5. So we are trying to identify if anyone wants to step up to be co-chairperson of the Jefferson Park Public Safety Committee. Previously, Janie Williams was my co-chair, but she has stepped down. So if you know anyone in the community who would be interested in co-chairing this meeting with me, please let me know. Paula, are you raising your hand? No? Okay. And then I think it's part of also the larger discussion as to what role this committee is going to play in the Jefferson Park community, given that I think a number of neighborhoods are starting to form their own neighborhood associations, etc. So again, if anyone wants to be co-chair or knows of anyone who would be interested, if you could let me know, that would be great. Next, we can move on to item 6 and just community discussion on any topics that you would like to cover in future meetings. I know that in the past, the Public Safety Committee has mostly focused on providing a space for the senior lead officers to come in and give a summary of what they've seen over the last month in terms of crime. Are there other topics that you would like to cover in these meetings? Again, this is, anyone can jump in to make suggestions.
Help Nancy out here, you guys. I know many of you are Jefferson Park folks. She's trying to get a discussion going here.
Go ahead, Paula.
Because if it's a concern everywhere, in addition to the police giving a report, which I think is wonderful, and I'm sorry they're not here today to do that, but also just discussion on the activities that we see around the area, the homelessness, just kind of update each other on what we're seeing around the community.
Okay. Anything else? I guess my question is really, what aside from, I guess, what do you want this space to be, right? Because what other topics do you want this meeting to cover? I think it's something that if you could each, I guess, try and give it some thought for next time, that would be great.
Nancy, this is Sandra. I have my hand raised. I can.
Oh, go ahead, Sandra.
I can lower it. One thing that would be interesting to have, since we have so much activity going on from a development standpoint, is maybe sharing those things that may be affecting the Jefferson Park area that's related to planning and zoning. I know that's usually, it's obviously covered in planning and zoning, but if there's like just, maybe introductions of the business owners, giving us an opportunity to know what kind of businesses are coming into the area. I know we've typically used this space, like you said, to get a status on, crime and those kind of statistics, but it would also be helpful to get a sense of the good things that are happening in the area from the standpoint of new businesses or, just sharing opportunities that may be coming into our community.
Okay. Go ahead, Rosie.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Besides the crime, the homelessness, the parking situations, and any of like illegal activity we've been seeing, excuse me, any upticks, and kind of what Cassandra was saying was like with the construction, do we see any issues with parking or where we may need to have a study for having a four-way stop sign, like where West Angeles and Sweet Green, and everyone is starting to have a lot of construction, that one little section of 36th and 11th Ave is only a two-way stop, which is really needs to have maybe a study to see if we can get a four-way stop right there.
Okay. Okay. I'll ask Laura how that would even transpire.
But some of those companies should have tried to have a study done. I think one said they may have. I'm not really sure, because that's quite a bit of traffic. When 7th Ave pre-COVID, 7th Avenue was really crazy, and they all started going to 11th Ave. And so that makes traffic even more backed up. Now we're talking about a parking structure and a whole new building being built from West Angeles. That's going to make a lot of traffic down 36.
Okay. Audrey, go ahead.
Yes, I was just going to make a suggestion, Nancy, that as, and you all see what you think about it, that as a standing item on the agenda, that perhaps something along the lines of community initiatives, if that's not vague enough, could be put on there, and that people in the Jefferson Park community be invited to come and talk about the things that they're doing. For example, on the Facebook page, Historic Jefferson Park, if you're not all on that, I recommend it to you, because there's a lot that people post there that's the only way you find out about it. But on this agenda for the Neighborhood Council, there's a group, for example, out there that's doing regular cleanups, regular trash cleanups, and they might having an additional place to report on what they've done, and to try to drum up additional volunteers for that effort, for example. Or if people are working on other initiatives where they just want to amplify what they're doing through the community, and to seek additional people to help them, that might be a nice place for it.
Okay, that's a good idea.
And as I said, you're not all on the Historic Jefferson Park Facebook page. I know that Lizzie posts a lot there. Many other people post many interesting initiatives and important things that are coming up. And this could be another way to get the word out. Things about food banks or anything of that nature.
Lizzie, go ahead. Thanks. Lizzie?
Hello?
Yes.
Is the meeting happening? I'm looking for the meeting.
Excuse me? Yes, the meeting's going on right now.
Okay.
Lizzie, did you have your hand up? I don't think we can hear you. Where are you?
Nancy, it looks like Rosie has her hand up again. I don't know if it's a new comment.
Yes. Okay, Lizzie. We'll come back to you, Lizzie. Go ahead, Rosie.
Has the economic development, have they started having meetings, or are they going to have meetings? Because some of it kind of is overlapping for Jefferson Park outreach and for economic development for the things that we're talking about here. Do you know if economic development is going to start having meetings?
Laura can answer that.
Well, I've been asking. Economic development co-chairs are Chris Carlson and Hugo Rodriguez, and I keep asking them, you know, when are you going to have meetings? But I'm pretty sure their focus is going to be, as a committee had been before, sort of helping to jumpstart business stuff through and after COVID. I've just walked back in. I was kind of walking back and forth. So I don't see why any other committee can't talk about stuff that ends up overlapping economic development. And there is also no reason why, if you guys wanted to have a meeting focusing on something on Jefferson Boulevard, why you couldn't ask them, can we do a joint meeting? I mean, you know, we've had over the years when we had active committees, there are many times we had two committees had a joint meeting with a topic in common. And I don't see that's a problem. But so far, I haven't even got them to pin down a night for their meetings. So best I can answer.
Okay. And it would be great to see, you know, people come and talk about their business that surrounds in Jefferson Park and surrounding Jefferson Park. I know currently on Jefferson, there's quite a few open spaces. I'm not sure if they've been leased out yet, but there are quite a few that are being refurbished and look like they're ready to open. And we just want to make sure that people get a chance to know, you know, if it's for rent, if it's coming up, what's moved this place, what's moved that place, what's still open. Right here on Jefferson and Crenshaw, I believe that's going to be a new 7-Eleven, and I think it's also going to be a Panda Express. I think I know 7-Eleven, but I'm not sure about the Panda Express. Where the old, you know what I'm talking about, Laura?
I was talking without my microphone. Where is yet another 7-Eleven?
Jefferson and Crenshaw.
Is that going to be across the street from the Arco station, Rosie?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So it's right next door to that senior center that was built on Crenshaw, the west side of Crenshaw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
southwest
to
corner.
that note, there's I haven't gone down there yet, but there's a pottery business that just looked like they opened on Jefferson and 12th, right across from where Saki used to be, Saki Liquors used to be. I'm gonna go down there and see what they're offering. I don't know, but it would be interesting to know because we have so much activity going on, especially right in that hub.
Mm-hmm.
11th and Edge Hill, that whole area. There's so much going on, and it would be nice for those to get kind of communicated out to the community so that they can start to, you know, hopefully go to these new businesses and keep them, you know, viable.
Right, and let the businesses know that we exist.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's right. I mean, I think as you frequent them, I think you should let them know about the UNNC. I mean, and if they're willing to come and just introduce themselves, even if it's just during the public announcement session, right? Like to come and say what their business is, what they do, you know, what services they're providing.
Yeah.
I think I think UNNC Communications Committee and Outreach Committee is also focusing on just trying to get the word out that we exist.
Right. Well, I know that the economic development group was putting together some kind of handout or information that would be given to new businesses, but I never saw that come to fruition. So I can certainly, when I go down there, tell them about it. I don't have any brochures. I can just give them an email or, you know, a website and tell them to get in touch with Laura Myers.
I don't know, Laura, go ahead.
Well, yeah, don't give them my email.
I'm not, I'm saying UNNC's.
Yeah, no, what I think the good thing is to say to anyone, hey, if you go to www.unnc.org, sign up for our e-blasts, and then you'll know about all of our meetings and also sometimes other things that are going on in the neighborhood. And do come, you know, we're meeting by Zoom, so you can easily, quote, come to a meeting really easily these days. And I think you can do that. We didn't bother to print more business cards this year because of COVID. You know, I mean, it's like, we're just not handing out paper very much at this point.
So does that mean that does Empower and Lane is this made it so that you can't go to that business and give them one of them bags anymore?
Lizzie, what have you heard? I mean, we're really not supposed to be handing stuff out. That's the thing.
Okay.
I mean, we're not supposed to be, yeah. We're not supposed to be handing, it's an interesting thing. They're not supporting events. They're not supporting outreach that's physical, but they're telling us we need to do outreach. So it's, you know, and if you don't do the physical outreach with brochures and whatever, we're just increasing the digital divide. So, you know, it's not necessarily sensible. Audrey's had her hand up and we're just talking around her. So, you know,
Go ahead, Audrey.
Nancy, for purposes of people wanting to get things on the agenda for these meetings, do you have contact information you can give us?
Yes, so it's my first and last name with at unnc.org.
Great, thank you. With a period in between?
Exactly, that's what it's a period between.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm typing it in.
And then, Lizzie, did you raise your hand or did I? So before Rosie goes up again, one thing that I did want to share, and I don't know if you are aware, but on Mondays, I think during lunchtime, and I think until about 6, where Earl's on Crenshaw sits, they have like a vegetarian like food trucks that, or that come in. Sorry.
Yep.
I can't hear you.
Nancy, your mic just went out.
1 second. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just, you know, if you ever want to go, they sell vegetarian food, I think Mondays from noon to 6. And there's a lot of little small vendors that come in. Rosie, did you have another comment?
Oh yeah, I think they call it Meatless Mondays, and sometimes, you know, Whole Foods, they're giving out food and things like that also. So are we able to, let's say I wanted to get something to take to a business, I can't get a flyer from UNNC, or at least can they email me a flyer? Now I want to make my own copies.
Well, I don't think we have a flyer right now to give. I know the community, I mean, last time I spoke with the communications committee, they were still developing a flyer to mail out. I don't know how that project is going. But I think if anything, I think giving them just the address, the website for UNNC.
Yeah, I understand that, but a lot of people are visual too. But we have a generic, UNNC had a generic flyer that kind of told you what they were and what they do. And
Laura, do we still have that? I mean, is it something that we need to update?
Okay, so Lizzie may have sent you, Nancy, a comment because I don't see it in my inbox in the chat. In terms of what we actually own, it's all sitting in a place where we have no access. I'm sounding whiny now, I think. But we have most of our stuff is in the closet at CD10, and CD10, just like every other city office, is off limits to us. I'm not sure when we can regain access, but I don't know anybody who wants to take it all into their house anyway. And we have zero access to the firehouse. So, meaning we could go into somehow we could probably get some access to the materials at the council office. Rosie, if there's something in particular that you wanted, I suspect we could figure out how to get it to you. But and all the rules that Dunn has for board members not handing stuff out don't apply to former board members. So
Right,
you can really do whatever you want.
Yeah, I may have I'm sure I have a flyer or two around here, and I probably have something on the computer
Right.
also. And Jeff may also, because I may have had Jeff make me a couple of ones. I'll check.
And Lizzie has now rejoined the meeting again. Maybe she has some answers. If you have audio now.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. All
Where
right.
is this?
So I'm sorry, was this about the flyers?
Any outreach materials?
Right. Unfortunately, what I heard from our advocate was that because of liability, there are liability issues that prevent UNNC members from actually handling the paper or whatever tangible material we would be to handle. So that is one thing that is preventing it. But I'm planning to meet with Adriana Cabrera, our advocate, and see if there's some type of loophole, or is there a way that other NCs are managing to do that type of outreach. Because so far our efforts are focused on doing it virtually only right now. Yes.
Right.
So, but I did have my other suggestion that I tried to insert it in the chat. So part of the ongoing discussion also has been if we are to move as a neighborhood association, how can we get some type of revenue, some type of income funds for us to do things around the neighborhood when the time comes, when we are ready to do so. And so part of it is the filming that goes on daily and increasingly here in Jefferson Park. And we know that other neighborhoods such as West Adams Avenue, Western Heights, they're doing a lot of filming there, and they do get revenue from that for each day of filming. And I think we need to get moving in that direction. And when we are, I don't think we can do that under the UNNC, but as a neighborhood association. And so with that in mind, I think it would be good for the lady who is the film liaison for from Film LA, if we could invite her to one of our meetings so that she could explain how the process is, and whoever's interested could manage that effort.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have a contact for that liaison?
I can find out for you, Nancy.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Rosie. I think you were gonna say something.
I have my hand up. Is it up?
Oh no, I thought you wanted it to say something. Okay, that's a good idea, Lizzie.
So Nancy, Nanette has her hand up.
Go ahead, Nanette.
Hi, you've passed this subject, but I had two questions. Because I don't have all of the information of what you do, but I did speak, I was on the other meeting, we were talking about the building that was going to be going up. Has anyone spoke on that on Adams?
Yeah,
I think it was 1908.
they have not discussed that here, or what she's talking about is a company called Triple Link is building lots of stuff, mostly closer to the university, but now on Adams near Western, they have a proposal right next to the church that Nanette's involved with, to do a well, they're calling it a small lot subdivision, so it's like 10, quote, single-family homes, but each, quote, single-family home has 10 to 15 bedrooms, and it's really a co-housing thing on Adams. So there's been a more to the east of us, starting to be a kind of big community effort to oppose the co-housing and this. I mean, they're focused on Triple Link. It's not the only company building these things. I just read in Urbanize LA, another company just got a $14 million loan to build co-housing project in Koreatown. So it's a trend. I don't know if it's going to hit west of Western in our area, but
Yeah.
but the one proposed next door to oh darn, Nanette, I'm forgetting the name of your church, and why am I forgetting it? Because I helped write the background historic resource report on it, but
that's okay. That's okay. We got a new marquee. You'll get it. You'll get it.
Oh,
but it's
Greater Page. Wonderful
Yeah.
church, beautiful church. But this is like this project proposed right next door to that. So it's a little outside of UNNC, but the impact of this kind of idea, this kind of proposal, you know, it's happening all over town. We just haven't seen one within our footprint yet. So, but this group hadn't talked about it.
Is this something to deal with homelessness, to have housing? No, it's just.
No, they're just putting, it's hard to explain because I don't know, it's different than just roommates because it's a company putting them together. But, you know, there's smaller versions in Venice Beach and Silver Lake and Los Feliz, but it's basically almost dorms, putting 3 and 4 people in every bedroom. And it's called co-housing, and there's no law on the books that allows it, but maybe there's no law that disallows it either. So it's anyway, it's a development trend, but it's not yet a zoning issue exactly. But again, there's a group, some church-led group in some sense, but it's not Greater Page that's leading it. I think it's the Redeemer Baptist people who are bringing together, and others, an effort to focus attention, city officials' attention on Triple Link in particular, but and on co-housing. I'm trying to say it neutrally.
Yeah, there's a lot in the University Park area.
Right.
I think on the door, they do have if you type in the search engine Triple Link, you'll see some people talking about it, and you'll see who's been gathering signatures and petitions and to get more information. Because you drive through there in that new neighborhood, you'll see them popping up next to homes, or they're all over the place over that direction.
Yeah, there is a private house right next door to that space as well. But the other thing was actually, where was this Vegetarian Monday event? What location was it?
It's in front of Earl's on Crenshaw.
Earl's, E-A-R-L-S?
E-A-R-L-E.
Okay.
Yes.
You know where the post office is right there?
Right, that's around 39th and
That little
Crenshaw.
strip right there.
Okay,
It's
thank
right over
you.
there.
So do we have anything to fight with in reference to this building, or they've already gone under the wire?
I'll look up and see what's happening.
Is that you, Laura?
Yeah, I'm going on
Okay.
Zenas to see what I can see.
Okay, thank you.
Laura, if UNNC is not the neighborhood council, which neighborhood?
No, the actual neighborhood council is Nandesy at that particular location, but but again, I've been getting emails from others. So it's not, again, it's not just that. So
Okay.
I'm looking up the case. Yeah, there's no hearing set yet. My understanding is that maybe Nandasi is scheduling this week, maybe. Could be even tonight, unfortunately. But Nanette, if you want to put in the chat your direct email address to me, I will send you the information as I get it from Nandasi, because I think this is on a policy agenda soon, maybe this week, or maybe we missed it already. So, I mean, it may be on their governing board next week.
Okay. I'm putting in
the chat. Thank
email.
You. Yeah, just put it in the chat to me, and I'll have it, and I'll privately recontact you.
Nancy, this is Sandra. I have my hand up.
Yes, go ahead.
Laura, is it possible for us to have like an educational session on this co-housing? This is the first time I'm hearing about it, and just because it may be at USC and K-Town, it is very likely that it will migrate further west. So is that something that maybe, if it's not this particular meeting group, but maybe planning and zoning, to give us an information time on, educate us, because we're going to be dealing with
John and I love to do educational sessions. It will not be November 4, but maybe mid-November.
That whenever, because I think this just is a sign of what is going to be happening.
Okay.
And we might as well get as aware of it and prepared for it and figure out where this is going to affect us all.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not even sure if there's yet a motion at City Council about it. But yes. But we like doing those sessions.
I appreciate those sessions. Thank you.
And then Laura, isn't LA City Planning having community planning sessions this month, or is it next?
Well, they had the planning department did Planning 101 a week and a half, not this past week, but the week before that, and that webinar is available. And then they're doing another Planning 101 session, different topic, community planning, in the month of November. And I don't know if either one, I know that co-housing was not addressed in the first one. I don't know if it would be addressed in this other one. And they're also doing some internal, like with the HPOZs, they're doing a lot more training, and I'm going to start sending out those links, because the next HPOZ board training is going to be on code enforcement, and they're going to have building and safety and the housing department. I see no reason why we wouldn't want to lurk in that training either. So, there's a lot of, Zoom is opening up the doors to a lot of training, but I don't think they've had anything on this. So, so I will send out to everyone on the UNNC e-blast the webinar for the training for November, and also a link to a webinar about the housing element, because that's also in November. And these, it sounds very technical, and they are, but they're also interesting. So,
Laura, I attended that first one. They kept kind of going back to, oh, you should just go to Zemus and look at whatever and whatever, but no one ever gave us a training on looking at Zemus.
Oh, right. Just like I didn't just now. I just said, I'm going to Zemus. And so, okay, noted. Maybe that's another training we can do at planning and zoning, or that one even at the board. But people don't like all that wonkiness at the board. So, okay, we can do it.
I'll attend, I promise.
Okay, Nancy, you're muted.
All right, Arnie, go ahead. He had his hand up. You're on mute.
Arnie, on our end, it looks like you're not muted, but you are muted. Yep. Okay, Zoom's good, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, I know. Is this working?
Yes.
No, this is not working. Oh, wait, now I think it is.
Now it's working.
Okay, I don't know why I just kept clicking it. And just as a suggestion of something that you may want to consider, and I'll take it to a couple of levels. You know, a lot of these companies that are doing these shared housing and the transitional housing are kind of repetitive around the city. It's the same organizations. So a couple of things that you might want to consider doing is that if you go to the, it's open record, it's open information, go to LAPD and get the calls for service to their other locations, look up where their other locations are, and start identifying if they're having series of calls for service to those properties, and get those other addresses, and make certain that you ask for at least 100 to 150 foot radius around their other properties, because how LAPD keeps statistics is basically the address of the caller. So then what you want to do is identify those other locations, see if they have problems, and use that as your documentation if you choose to fight some of these, some of the other ones that are coming in. And then lastly, one of the things that I've done, and again, I'm not, no fan of the suppression side, and most owners of these types of properties will comply, I found. But if you find those that aren't, what we've done is we've gotten a number of community members together, because it's very challenging if you have to sue them for a nuisance, but we've gotten 4, 5, 6, 7 people to take them to small claims court, and we'll have LAPD in court, or whoever the law enforcement is. So just as a thought from a resource.
Well, I just went on to the TripleLink website that Nancy had shared, and it's not even inexpensive. I mean, these are shared rooms for more than $1,000. So I say rent a house together with a group of people and create family. Don't need a company to help you do it. Anyway.
Right. Yeah, I've dealt with these shared houses even up in Brentwood, where they're getting the UCLA students coming in there, and you have your party houses. So, that I don't know if it's necessary. In Westchester, I deal with it a lot and so forth. So, but just as a resource of how to look them up and kind of make them accountable.
Okay. Well, I don't see any other hands up.
Right.
No. All right, so I think we can call the meeting to an end. The next meeting will be November 24th, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
Right, but then you're not going to do one the Christmas week, right? Not.
But there will not be one in December. Laura, one question that I had for you is regarding the transition for CD10. When will we know who the next rep will be, or if there will be a change in rep?
Well, there will be oh, you mean the rep for us?
Yes.
from the well, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, November 24th will still be Jeff.
Yes.
The Herb Wessons, they physically leave somewhere in mid-December.
Okay.
And obviously we don't know who the new council member is, and I am crossing fingers that they keep the office, because whoever it is can choose to have a different physical office.
I see.
And so I'm crossing fingers that doesn't happen, or doesn't happen soon, because obviously that would impact not just our storage, but when we're off of Zoom, where do we meet?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's all, what I do know is that it's not very likely that many people on the current staff will still be on staff. I'm saying that it's just not very likely for a lot of different reasons. And it's unfortunate, because we've forged some really good relationships.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we'll see. But Jeff will still be here for the rest of your meetings for this year, which is just one.
All right, sounds good. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you for your time. And
Thank you, Nancy.
next week.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Email me. All right, bye, everyone.
Bye. And you know, I stay till
you.
the end, so because I'm catching the recording. Oh,
Thank
if
you.
anybody, if you want the information that was in the chat, if you're still here, what you do to save the chat is take your cursor down to the, open up the chat, and then take your cursor down to the 3 little dots and click on it, and you can save chat.
Okay.
And it should show up with a green bar that says chat saved. So in other words, open the chat box, and then you'll see 3 dots at the bottom right. You can save the chat.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, bye.
I don't see that in mine.
Neither do I.
Or okay, or send me an email, Laura
It's
Myers,
okay.
Myers, and I'll send you the chat. So laura.myers@unnc.org.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Laura.Myers@UNC.
Yeah, at unnc.org, O-R-G. And the Myers is M-E-Y-E-R-S. So
I'm a little with this. I pulled over so I can try to type
I'm
it.
so sorry.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, the LAURA.MEYERS@UNNC.org.
oh, NNC. Okay, just like the
UNNC,
organization.
yeah,
Okay.
United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council.org. Okay. And thank you for attending. And
Thank you for helping out. I'll be looking to hear from you.
I will email you.
All right,
Okay.
I'm going to copy that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. I'm going to end the meeting.
Bye. All right, thank you.